In a world where water is no longer just a liquid, it has become a time crime. What if every drop of water carried memories of a polluted future? This is not a story of a flood, but a story of time drowning in a bathtub.
From a future contaminated by nuclear radiation. These visions show that the collapse of dams has opened quantum wormholes that allow the polluted waters of 2100 to mix with the rivers of the present. One, the shiny black water symbolizes the pollution of the nuclear future, but also embodies human fear of the unknown. Its matte color resembles oil as a reference to the exploitation of resources. Two, the glass crystals on the skin of children represents the transformation of humans into cruel, emotionless creatures. As a result of pollution and technology, glass butterflies, a symbol of fragility. Just as a butterfly can be shattered by a touch, a civilization can be shattered by a wrong decision. In an era dominated by existential fears, from climate change to artificial intelligence, cinema is turning into a virtual laboratory for testing worst-case scenarios. The video Time Drowns in the Bathtub is not just a work of art, but a thought experiment that embodies the theory of imagination as an early warning tool. By combining water disasters with time shifts, the work prompts us to ask, are we facing science fiction or a convincing prophecy in a world threatened by successive environmental crises? Water is turning from a source of life into a vector of fear. The video Time Drowns in the Bathtub does not tell a simple list of floods, but rather opens a window into a terrifying scenario. The collapse of dams is not just the destruction of infrastructure, but a time hole in which humanity's past mixes with its polluted future. This artwork combines science fiction with an environmental warning to paint a picture of a future that we might create with our own hands. Wormholes between physics and fantasy. The idea of the video is based on the theory of quantum wormholes which are like hidden bridges that connect different times and places. Here, collapsed dams turn into portals that allow the waters of the future, filled with nuclear radiation, to flow into our present. This idea is not pure fantasy. In 2022, scientists at Caltech University succeeded in simulating a quantum wormhole using a supercomputer. According to physicist Brian Greene, massive energy disturbances, such as those caused by dam collapses, can distort space-time. Water as a disaster archive The film is inspired by the water memory hypothesis, which says that water can store information. Although official science rejects it, the video uses it as a symbol of nature's ability to record our mistakes. The shiny black water in the video carries not only radiation, but memories of. In 2010, Japanese scientists discovered that water molecules are affected by sound frequencies.
Yusef splashed water on his face. He looked into the basin. Instead of his reflection, he saw a city. It was twisted and broken. Buildings were mere skeletons against a fiery sky.
Yusef gasped.
Itself had an oily sheen, shimmering with an unnatural blackness.
The change had started subtly. A shimmering darkness crept into the rivers, spreading like ink in water. Soon the water ran black, an oily, obsidian tide that glittered under the sun. The fish began to die, their silver scales turning a dull grey. The crops withered, starved of the life-giving water they depended on.
Unbeknownst to Yusef, the answers lay centuries in the future. A young scientist named Noor stared out at the parched, cracked earth. The sun, a malevolent red eye in the sky, baked the land dry.
Yusef felt a growing sense of dread. The air around him seemed to thicken, making it hard to breathe. Every step he took felt like a journey through a nightmare. The river was speaking to him, but its voice was a chaotic symphony of whispers and screams. It was as if the water itself was alive, trying to convey a message that was just out of reach. He saw flashes of the future, fragmented images that made his head spin. Visions of events yet to come, each more terrifying than the last, bombarded his mind. A burning sky, cities swallowed by dust storms, children with skin like cracked porcelain. These were not just dreams, but warnings of a future that seemed inevitable.
One day, while walking along the riverbank, a large fish leaped from the black water. Its scales shimmered with an eerie glow, catching Yusef's attention. It landed at his feet, gasping for breath. The fish's eyes seemed to plead with him, as if it had something crucial to say. But what shocked Yusef wasn't the fish's desperate struggle for air, but the words that tumbled from its mouth. It spoke with a voice that was both ancient and urgent.
The dam! They're breaking the dam! You have to stop them! The fish's message was clear, and Yusef knew he had to act quickly.
The fish shuddered, its scales losing their unnatural sheen, reverting to a dull silver before his eyes. Then it lay still. Yusef stood there, the weight of the fish's words heavy on his shoulders, knowing that his journey had only just begun.
The river's warnings grew more insistent, whispering secrets that chilled my very soul. It was as if the water itself was alive, trying to communicate something dire, something that we were too blind to see. I started seeing things, impossible things. The world around me twisted and turned, revealing hidden layers of reality that defied all logic. Trees would morph into strange creatures, and shadows danced with a life of their own.
Children began to shimmer and fade, their bodies slowly crystallizing into fragile, glass-like statues. It was a transformation both beautiful and horrifying, as if they were being claimed by some otherworldly force. He saw birds with wings of smoke, their cries echoing with a sorrow that chilled him to the bone. These eerie creatures seemed to be harbingers of doom, their presence a constant reminder of the darkness that was spreading.
I realized with a sickening certainty that these weren't just visions, but glimpses of a future contaminated by the black water. The scenes of desolation and despair were not mere figments of my imagination, but warnings of what was to come. The water wasn't just water anymore. It was a carrier, a vector for something else, something that was warping time itself. It felt as though the very fabric of reality was being twisted and torn apart by this malevolent force.
Panic gripped the village. People ran through the streets, their faces masks of terror and confusion. The once peaceful community was now a place of chaos and fear. The elders, their faces etched with fear and confusion, dismissed Yusef's warnings as madness. They clung to their old beliefs, unable to accept the terrifying new reality that was unfolding before their eyes. But he knew he couldn't ignore the truth. Yusef felt a deep sense of responsibility, a need to uncover the source of this nightmare and find a way to stop it before it consumed them all. The fish, the visions, the strange black water. It all pointed to a single terrifying conclusion. The village was on the brink of an unimaginable catastrophe, and time was running out. The climb was treacherous, but fueled by a desperate hope, Yusef persevered. Each step was a battle against the unforgiving terrain, but he couldn't afford to stop. The stakes were too high, and the weight of his mission pressed heavily on his shoulders. He reached the dam, a concrete behemoth casting a long shadow across the parched land. But something wasn't right. The air was thick with tension, and the silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the dam's structure. The air shimmered with an unnatural energy, and the water cascading down the spillway wasn't the familiar blue, but the oily black of the future. It was as if the dam was a portal to another world, one where hope had long been extinguished.
And then I saw her, a figure in the distance, almost ethereal in her presence, standing out against the bleak backdrop.